The day the Galactic Council overstepped its last boundary began like any other quiet, bureaucratic, and dripping with the arrogance that only long-lived species could afford. No one in the council chambers noticed the empty human seat. They hadn't for weeks. To the ancient delegates of the Vothar Dominion, the crystalline envoys of the Sharzan Choir, and the scaled, regal Suthra matronate, humanity's absence felt like an inconvenience, nothing more. Humans were impulsive, short-lived, and prone to drama. They would return when they calmed down, they told themselves. They always did. But the truth was far simpler. Humanity was done, and the galaxy was about to learn what done meant. THEFINA LINSULT. Ambassador Kezra of the Suthra matronate tapped her claws irritably against the obsidian table. Once more, she hissed, "We vote to enforce the resource levy against Earth. Their refusal has gone unanswered long enough. Seizure is permissible." Several delegates nodded. Only Councillor Relin of the Tars Coalition frowned. "We should at least attempt dialogue. Humanity has been distant." "Humanity has been difficult," Kezra corrected. "Their mining operations expand without oversight. Their ships wander beyond charted borders without filing paths, and their new colony on Vesper 9 refuses to recognize council tax structures." Relin sighed. "We've taxed them every cycle. Their lifespans are short, their economies renew fast. Perhaps we've pushed too." "A child species does not push back," snapped Ambassador Vrix of the Vothar. "They obey." The hologram at the center of the chamber flickered, revealing a spiral of the galaxy, several sectors highlighted in crimson. "Human activity," Vrix explained. "Rapid colonization. Ignoring council treaties. They behave as if they have no limits." Relin glanced around. "Then perhaps we should ask them why." But the vote was already underway. Sanctions, embargoes, forced inspections, fleet oversight. Every measure piled atop the last until the room hummed with self-satisfaction. "This will bring them to heel," Kezra said. But Relin noticed something strange. As the votes locked in, the central screen updated, assigning enforcement fleets, marking dispatch coordinates, recalculating map routes. Then the screen glitched. The coordinates shifted. The entire Earth region flickered, then vanished. The counselors stared. "Is this a malfunction?" Vrix demanded. The technician drone's word. "No malfunction detected." "Then where," Kezra hissed, "is Earth?" THEVANISHING. Earth hadn't moved. The council simply no longer had access. Someone had revoked their data permissions across every shared relay. Sector files were blank, navigation routes erased, human embassy nodes cut off. Rick slammed a clawed fist onto the table. "This is sabotage." But sabotage would require infiltrating dozens of networks across hundreds of systems. That level of access wasn't just improbable, it was impossible. Unless humanity did it themselves," Relin whispered. The chamber fell silent. Humans weren't master hackers. They weren't telepaths. They didn't access council data through arcane crystal interfaces like the Sharzan. What they did have was a near-reckless proficiency for building workarounds no matter the cost. "What if," Relin continued carefully, "they created duplicate networks, shadow relays that we never noticed, hidden behind their usual chaos?" Kezra scoffed. "Humans are clever, but not that clever." But inside, a cold tremor ran down her spine. Humans were exactly that clever. CATTERING. While the council argued, humanity was already gone. Not vanished, simply elsewhere. Across hundreds of systems, human settlements were packing up, powering down and drifting away like dust on solar winds. Some colonies detach their orbital habitats and move them like giant ships. Others simply left behind empty cities, their lights extinguished, their comm towers silent. One message appeared on abandoned stations, spreading like a ghostly signature: "We're done asking permission." Those 4 words crawled through every faction's networks, delivered from station to station, rarely in the same format, always unmistakably human. Whole fleets disappeared from known space. Trade convoys vanished from their lanes. And humanity's great ark-stations, massive ring habitats capable of sustaining millions, rose from the edges of the Sol system and flew outward like migrating leviathans. No threats, no demands, no war, just a quiet, chilling departure. IV, THECOU and CILSPANIC. Council chambers spiraled into chaos. What do you mean the Terran diplomatic corps are empty? They cleared them out, every outpost. Where did they go? It's impossible to track them. They had always underestimated humans. They thought short lives meant small vision. They thought rapid change meant lack of strategy. They thought emotional volatility meant weakness. But humans adapted faster than any species in the Council. Their colonies rarely matched. Their technology evolved unpredictably. Their ships changed design every generation. And now all that unpredictability was unchained. Relin stood slowly. "We should be careful." "Why?" Kezra growled. "They've run." "No," Relin said. "They've positioned." He pointed to the holographic map where the Council's border stretched across a luminous grid of controlled systems. Then he pointed to the dark, uncharted void beyond. Humans have always wanted to explore beyond known space. Now they're doing it without restrictions, without reporting back, without oversight. "And how," Vrix hissed, "does that threaten us?" Relin's pupil slits narrowed. "Because the only thing more dangerous than an angry human is a human who's made up their mind." VFIRST CONSAQ UENCETHESILE NCEDARMADA. 3 cycles later, the first Council enforcement fleet went missing. 42 ships. 8,000 personnel. Gone without distress calls. "Impossible!" Kezra shouted. But sensor logs recovered from a nearby relay shard told a different story. The fleet had jumped into a region marked as human territory. Immediately, their communications died. Then their engines. Then their life support. Everything shut down simultaneously, not destroyed, simply turned off. A warning message flashed across the flagship screens before they went dark: "Stop following us." Nothing else. The fleet was found months later, drifting. The crews were alive, unharmed, confused and terrified. No enemy. No weapons. No intruders, the Admiral reported afterward. Systems simply refused to obey our commands. "What technology can do that?" Kezra asked. The Admiral swallowed. "The kind they've been building while we were watching the wrong things." VI THECEONFESSION. The Council summoned the only human they could still contact, Dr. Lena Mora, former Terran cultural envoy, found living quietly on a Sherzin monastery moon. She arrived in simple clothes, hands in pockets, expression calm. "Where is your species?" Vrix demanded the instant she entered. Lena raised a brow. "No greeting, huh? Good to see you too." Kezra slammed her tail on the floor. "Your people have abandoned Council space. Why?" Lena sighed. "Because you kept pushing. Tax this, regulate that. Restrict every scientific advancement. Threaten every independent colony. We played along for decades, but you never stopped treating us like pests. Relin leaned forward. Why not negotiate? Why disappear? Lena met his gaze. We tried. You didn't listen. Kezra hissed. You cannot simply leave. You owe the council compliance. Lena gave a small, sad smile. That, she said softly, is the problem. The chamber fell silent. Relin exhaled slowly. What will humanity do now? Grow, Lena said. Expand. Explore places you've never dared to go. Build things your committees would never approve. And if we forbid it? Rix challenged. Lena shrugged. Then we'll ignore you. And if we pursue you? Her eyes hardened. Don't. VIITHECOUNCILGOESTOOFAR. Warnings never mattered to the council. Fear only made them more arrogant. Eventually, they passed one final directive: track all human migration paths, monitor all human ships, confiscate any human technology found beyond regulated space. It was a declaration, not of war, but of ownership. It was also the last mistake they would ever make without consequences. To enforce the directive, they sent a massive fleet, 300 ships, into the outer fringe, where human ark-stations had last been seen. The fleet vanished within an hour. When the council attempted to view the logs, nothing. All data scrubbed. Only one transmission returned. A single human voice, calm and steady. We left so we wouldn't have to fight you. Stop chasing us. The council tried to muster more fleets. But something or someone began shutting down their shipyards. Not destroying them. Not attacking. Just disabling critical systems so gently it was almost surgical. Every council system connected to the central network began to fail. Someone had found every backdoor, every hidden command layer, every oversight in their ancient code. Someone who learned from them. Someone who watched quietly for years. Someone who got tired of being talked down to. Human patience hadn't broken with violence. It broke with precision. VIITHEREVEAL. When the council finally tracked down a human ark station hidden behind a nebula that scrambled long-range sensors, they approached cautiously. The station was enormous, larger than any habitat in their recorded history. A moving city of millions. A mobile civilization. A small shuttle departed and docked with the council envoy's vessel. Dr. Lena Mora walked out again. Rix nearly choked. You? Again? She shrugged. I get around. Kezra's tail bristled. Explain this station. Sure, Lena said. This is one of many. We call them Voyagers. Self-sustaining, adaptive, built to travel for centuries. You made settling difficult, so we stopped settling. Relin studied the station behind her. This is incredible. But why sever ties? Why run? Lena's voice softened. Because we realized something. You never wanted partners. You wanted dependence. You wanted compliance. You wanted us frozen the way we were when you first met us? She looked each delegate in the eyes. But we are a species that moves forward. Always. Sometimes too fast. Sometimes too far. But never backward. Rick spat. We must control expansion. No, Lena said firmly. You must control yourselves. And you can. Without us. Kezra's crest stiffened. You would isolate yourselves. Lena shook her head. No, we're open to friendship, cooperation, trade, just not ownership. Relin exhaled, relieved. So there is hope. Lena smiled gently. For those who respect our boundaries, always. IX. THENEWREALITY. Humanity didn't return to Council space, but they didn't cut all ties either. They simply lived on their own terms. Scattered across deep space, building wonders no Council committee would have approved, colonizing nebulae, hollowing asteroids into drifting cities, experimenting with technologies that made the Council's greatest achievements feel ancient. Some Council species sought alliances. Some sought trade. Some sought peace. And for those who tried to chase them, their ships quietly powered down, left unharmed but immobilized, floating until someone rescued them. A warning, a reminder, a boundary. Humanity wasn't hiding. They were simply free. XEPILOG UEPATIENCEREDEFINAD. Ambassador Relin visited Dr. Lena Mora one final time aboard Voyager 3. "Will the Council ever see Earth again?" he asked. Lena smiled faintly. "Maybe. When we're ready. When you are too. And until then?" Lena glanced out the viewport, where stars swirled past in gentle spirals and new worlds waited beyond. "Until then," she said, "we wander. We grow. We learn. We heal. Oceans don't shrink to fit inside teacups, counselor. And humanity was never meant to be small." Relin bowed his head. "Then, may your people travel far." Lena touched the glass. "We already have.